Hello, I'm at London's beautiful Kew Gardens. All great except it's right on a flight path. Look at that plane going there. Imagine if it exploded now. I don't have the Medusa touch. Welcome to another Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. This week's guest is Tim Minchin, making a return visit, first time on video. Absolutely amazing man and a brilliant interview. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. If you do enjoy these videos and would like them to keep going, please back our Kickstarter campaign. It's at gofasterstripe.com/Kickstarter is one way of finding it, and we're trying to raise £70,000 to film the next series, Series 10, and also Series 9 that we've already filmed that we have no way of paying for. We're just crazy guys. We've taken a leap in the dark. There's loads of fantastic rewards you can get. You can get access to the backstage interviews for Series 9 and 10, which are all about 5 minutes long and only usually go to the monthly badge subscribers, so they're kind of an exclusive thing. You can get a book of emergency questions, you can get some brilliant, a badge, you can get some postcards. There's the, you know, if you're at Kew Gardens, you can go along on a little train like that. It's exciting, isn't it? You can get, what have I said? You can get Leon Edler from The Guardian has very kindly designed us 5 amazing t-shirts. I also still design t-shirts, so you can get one of those as well if you pay enough. And there's a chance to get your name in the credits. There's a chance to get a product placement if you have a company or an item that you would like us to discuss within one of the podcasts in Series 10. There's also a chance for me to interview you on the stage of the Leicester Square Theatre in the very chairs before one of the actual recordings. There won't be an audience there. It'll be a little DVD that you can keep for yourselves. And I think that'll be quite an exciting reward. But it'd just be lovely if everyone gave a couple of quid and then we wouldn't have to ask for any more. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. I can already tell you're much better than last week's audience. I can already tell that. Done that before the show this time. That's a new one, isn't it? Please welcome a man who has had an indecent proposal from a TV star, and he's going to tell you all about it. It's Richard Herring! Hello London! We voted Remain. So, hello, welcome to Richard Herring's. And we shouldn't be allowed to. It's Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. I was at my my Hucklebuck lesson, the Hucklebuck dancing class I go to. So they teach you how to do the Hucklebuck. The lesson is they just say if you don't know how to do it, you're out of luck. Which seems, you know, you're paying a lot of money for those. But the bloke running the Hucklebuck class, who I think might be the same bloke who sang it originally. He calls it rehearsal. So I don't know what I say. And yes, I've just remembered this backstage that I wrote about. You know, if you listen to this podcast, you know I'm obsessed with having sex with puppets, which I think goes back to being a 19, 20-year-old man and Stuart Lee attempting to wank me off with the ventriloquist dummy. I think that's the only way I can make sense of my puppet fetish. First, actually, this is something someone emailed me to tell me that people who want to have, because I also have a fetish about robots, so I'm a strange person, so if it's a robot puppet, I'm delighted. That's why I like Justin's house so much. It's not really a puppet, but it'll do. But someone told me that someone who has sex with dolls are called pedophiles. I mean, come on, they know what they're doing there, that's not fair, is it? Having sex with a doll, a blow-up doll, isn't the same as having... They're trying to lump them all together. That is an awful thing. That's just by the by. But I wrote in my Metro column last week about turning 49, which I did last week, or 2 weeks ago, or a lot of weeks ago. And my 5 things I wanted to do. And one of them was to make love with Fenella from the Furchester Hotel, who some parents are in, who is a muppet. She's like a sort of Sybil Fawlty in this hotel. She's sort of middle-aged woman, but there's something fruity and quite exciting about it. And I said my wife's given me permission to have sex with Fenella and the puppeteer and the voiceover artist. They'd have to be there, right? And the minute this was published, the voiceover artist from the Furchester Hotel said she was up for it, but not with me, which was and then the producer of the Furchester Hotel got in touch with me to ask if I wanted to bring my family to Salford to see it filmed, which is sending out a double message there, isn't it? Because I don't know what's going to be expected of us when we get there. And they go, well, you were the one who said you said you wanted this. I didn't want to bring my wife and child with me. So I'm going to go, obviously. Who wouldn't want to go to the Furchester Hotel? It's quite exciting. It's amazing. You just write something in the paper and then you get to... Should have chosen someone better than Fenella from the Furchester. Anyway, our next guest he would look at home in the Furchester Hotel. He is probably best known for his appearance in Ruth Jones's Easter Treat. If you want to hear more about that. He was also, of course, and others will know him as Tom in Two Fists, One Heart. Yeah, there's some fans of that. It's his second appearance on. He was the first ever guest on Rehearlastapa. It's Tim Minchin, ladies and gentlemen. Sit down. Pull up a microphone. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Been travelling around, a bit jet lagged.
I feel good. Yeah, I'm incredibly. I don't know how I feel ever at this last couple of months.
Okay.
I'm sort of constantly almost on the edge of hysterical laughter or crying. It's just time zones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
because I'm busy and important. It's the subtext there. Yeah. To be clear. Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about your appearance of Tom in Two Fists, One Heart.
Yeah, Two Fists, One Heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Which you also wrote a song for, I believe.
I did, and it was an Australian boxing movie. It wasn't bad actually. It's sort of a weird art house boxing movie about a father, immigrant Italian Sicilian father who you find out later was going to be a boxer in the Olympics in the 40s or something. Ended up in jail anyway. Who projects his failed ambitions on his son, and it's about violence and you know and immigration, and it was quite a nice film. But the co-writer was a boxer, a well-known Perth kind of standover guy, a Sicilian guy whose gym got firebombed by the local mafia and stuff. And he co-wrote this film, and he taught me to box. That's why I'm such a good boxer. And in Italian, someone, Two Fists, One Heart.
They're not as clever as they used to be, this audience.
Your audience
we
is
did
plummeting.
This. They have. When we
IQ.
did this before, there was a guy who gave us every answer. Go on, what?
No, mano is just hands, and fist is different. But good. I mean, good. Anyway. But anyway, it doesn't sound so much like a porn in Italian. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we call it Two Fists, One Heart.
It cost 8.5 million Australian dollars to make. And
Why are we talking about it?
And took
brilliant. I played a very small role in it.
At the box office, took 305,300 Australian dollars.
Oh, did it really?
And the fact they put the 300 in there is what makes it really,
it's important
really
to count every dollar. I didn't ever know that figure. I went and saw it.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. So should we? Is that on Netflix?
I don't know if you can find. Has anyone seen it? No. Yeah, you'd have to. Well, yes. Well, see,
How's Tim in it? Is he good?
It's good.
He's good. Yeah, I think
the person who just put her hand up also flew to Sydney to see me in a play. So
I felt a certain partisan feeling there.
And the person next to her flies from Finland to see me every time I appear in London.
Wow. It's all right. We'll keep an
know
eye.
Your stalkers.
We'll keep an eye on him.
That's right. It's profiling.
I listened back. I listened back. I mean, the whole fucking front row are stalkers of mine, so that's fine. David Fru's always there. Look at him, man. Andy McCage. I know their fucking names. It's terrible.
No, it's really weird. You just encourage them by knowing their names.
I do. I've listened back to the first podcast. It was a long time ago, like it's 4.5 years since we spoke last. And it was very childish, I have to say. It was the first one I did. And it's changed a lot. I asked, my first question was, have you ever tried to suck your own cock? And that is a very inappropriate question to ask. We talked about...
You were starting out.
I know, but we talked about prolapsed anuses and having sex. I mean, I'm embarrassed about it, so it's going to be a very different interview. If you had to choose between dating a woman who was a 6 foot tall vagina, or vulva really,
Just a massive fanny.
just a massive fanny, or a woman who instead of having sexual parts had just another woman there, just it'd be like in a sort of cave.
Does the
just poke
does
out.
the 6 foot fanny have eyes?
No, it doesn't have eyes. I mean,
It's
it might
just
see
a
through
fanny.
its clitoris, but as a cyclops.
Does it have a brain? Is it intelligent?
I think you could probably hold a conversation. It would talk. It would talk. It might be a bit, but it would talk. I mean, that'd be fine.
Loose lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would give the appearance.
Terrible at keeping secrets.
It would. It would put on like false arms to make it look like more like a person. But I mean, it'd be hard.
But you'd know it's a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could brush its hair in a certain way.
Yeah. Sort of like Boris Johnson is sort of trying to make herself look human, but you know it's a cunt.
Yeah.
Oh, I should go back to stand-up. It's almost a joke. Yeah.
Or it's the other. It's like two women. I think they would go all the way down. There'd be this little sort of popsicle effect that woman would come out. It'd be a complete woman, but she would be inside. But then she'd come out.
would
then
she have a woman?
Yeah, she'd have another woman.
So
all
a
the way down.
babushka sort of situation.
Yeah. But you could. It'd be like going out with two women at once. That one.
Well, it wouldn't, because neither of them have vaginas. Not that I'm saying gender is biological. Sorry, gender. I mean, gender is a social construct. So they're women if they think they are. But it's tough. It's a tough time to be on a microphone. Look, I think I'd get bored with the massive vagina. I mean, not just bored, but like. Freaked out.
It would be freaky.
Like vagina, I love vaginas.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I started in one, and I hope I die in one. Like I love a fanny, me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All of it. I love everything about them. All the weird things about them and the taste, and it's brilliant. I love a fanny, but there's got to be a point where it's gross. Like I don't mind a big fanny, but not. I reckon over about like. Whoa. If the distance between perineum and clitoris is bigger than 15 centimeters, it's starting to get a bit more like a sort of barbecue, like a series of sort of meats.
Okay.
What is sort of section of a butcher's shop?
What if you entered the vagina woman, like got in and
Like
went
getting
far
into an
enough
elevator.
back, you would enter kind of a Narnia kind of kingdom.
Well, then you have to get into the specifics of what's in the world behind the fanny.
Yeah.
Like if behind the fannies there's a series of women with normal-sized fannies, then I'd be like, yeah, take me to the massive fanny.
Yeah.
It's so lovely to be back in England where fanny means fanny, not bum.
Yeah. That would be weird if it was a massive
A
American
6 foot
fanny, wouldn't it? A 6 foot anus.
Or bottom.
Yeah.
I've known a couple of 6 foot bottoms.
A 6 foot anus would be more worrying than a 6 foot bottom. I mean, at least your 6 foot bottom you could
6
do,
foot bottom, you
but a
could.
massive 6 foot high. I mean, would it be 6 foot wide as well? I suppose it would be.
Well, 6 foot,
I
maybe
don't know.
6 foot diameter.
Yeah.
I could handle a 6 foot bottom more easily than a 6 foot vagina. By the way, the vagina is obviously the hole.
It is, yeah. I mean, I said that for
tube.
I said that for the vulva or.
Yeah, a 6 foot set of vulva.
If I say that, people don't know what I mean. It's
Right.
like the vagina monologues is very badly named, really, isn't it? Because it's not about.
It's not.
It's not about the vagina. Is not about the. It's about the entire.
gear.
It's about everything.
It's about the
It's like saying.
drapes. It's not
like-
just about the window.
It's like saying I've got the vas deferens monologues. That would be weird, wouldn't it? Which is the tube that
inside
takes.
bit, or the urethra monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you called someone you think is a cock urethra,
Yeah.
you just get headbutted.
You
You know, sometimes you should stop. Sometimes.
Yeah,
before you
sometimes. Sometimes you should, but sometimes you shouldn't. I'll ask this while I remember, because this is an emergency question that I can ask you. Because last time, I'm going to get onto some serious stuff in a minute. No. I'm going to waste your time. I've flown you over from America at great expense. Last time you revealed that you were circumcised, didn't you?
Oh, I am circumcised.
Yeah, you
still,
revealed that.
Still, yep.
Is that still the case?
Yeah.
Has it grown back?
No,
or is it-
I mean every morning, but
So
no.
this is an emergency question I can ask you. When you masturbate, do you start with away or towards?
Towards. Yeah. I think so. First is a pull.
Yeah.
I mean, first. I think so. Inward.
Well, I've got a foreskin.
Who starts like that? That's absurd.
Well, you don't have a foreskin. You've got nothing to guide you. Like with a foreskin, I think the question is about the way you work with wherever the foreskin starts.
Sorry, I can't remember from 4.5 years ago. I mean, usually I never forget whether a man has a foreskin or not. But
I do.
Do you have a foreskin?
I have a foreskin. Yeah. I mean, it's
dirty.
It helps protect me if I'm running through brambles.
Yeah.
That is what it's there for. Yeah. I'm delighted about.
That's why I always carry a shield.
You've done a lot of stuff since the last rehearsal, which I'm not saying it's as a direct result of you having been on this show, but it seems things seem to have gone up and up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I just
have a wine.
I'd like to. You were in. I'd like to talk about Jesus Christ Superstar. You were in Jesus Christ Superstar as Judas.
Yeah, that was the best fun I ever had doing anything ever.
I bet. Well,
it's really hard to spend your whole life being ironic and then just do totally unironic Judas in a rock disco opera Jesus Christ. It was fucking ridiculous.
I knew you'd like it.
Do you like Jesus Christ Superstar?
I don't. I'm not a massive fan of
musicals
or anyone who has anything to do with them.
No. I mean, fucking musicals.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm interested in the figure of Jesus Christ. Judas is a very interesting figure anyway in history.
Do you know the musical?
Yeah, no.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
I genuinely, this is my favourite. Like, learning that I was allowed to do that role was, despite the fact that the last 15 years of my life have been a series of unbelievably things I wouldn't have dreamed of, that was the best thing. The dream come true was we needed seals dropped out. Seals dropped out. We need you to play Judas. I was like, it's like because I used to sing it in my lounge room, from beginning to end. It's fucking amazing, and it was, and it didn't let me down. It was brilliant. I loved it.
And as an atheist,
I'll do it all now for you. Shall I start?
Yeah, we can. Let's. As an atheist, it must have been good to play Judas, because he killed.
Yeah, well, it's an atheist
Jesus.
Musical.
Yeah.
I mean, Rice and Lloyd Webber sort of decided somewhere in about 1972 that they shouldn't say that. But the premise of the musical is, what if God wasn't real and these people were people who believed God was real, but was a socio-political movement? And what would that have been like for Judas? He obviously felt that Jesus was getting out of control. That's how the whole thing starts. He says, all your followers are blind, they have too much heaven on their minds. We're a political movement and you've gone all God on us. He goes, and eventually Jesus doesn't listen to him. He tries and tries and tries, and Jesus is just getting a prostitute and getting his feet rubbed with incredibly expensive oil, and he's like, you've lost your fucking way. And he goes and dobs on him and says, we've got to get this corrupt guy out of our movement. And then he feels so guilty because they beat him almost to death that he kills himself. It's as humanist. It's brilliant. I love it. Sorry.
It's a bit like your Angela Eagle and it's Jeremy Corbyn.
Very
so
similar.
It's a
sort of betrayal, or Gove and who did he betray?
I was thinking about Judas the other day. I mean, I think about him a lot. I like him. He's a good guy. But it sort of proves that the existence of Judas sort of proves that Jesus isn't a god, right? Because if you were one of the blokes who hung around with Jesus and saw him do all that stuff, and you believed he was God, you wouldn't go, 30 pieces of silver. You'd go, I'll wait. I'll play the long game on this one. I'll wait for heaven and everything.
Yeah, because he's clearly miraculous.
Because he's God and everything. Because I know he's God, so I won't betray him.
There's this really... I'm going to get this all wrong because I'm tired and drinking. There's... Someone will know. There's a philosopher in... I'm going to make this up. In the 19th century, there's a guy who got into his head that Judas was truly the... So, if you believe God's real, then Judas made a much, much, much bigger sacrifice than Jesus for this story, assuming God's all-powerful, all-knowing, blah, blah. He needed his son to die for our sins, and therefore he needed Judas to betray him. So Judas and Jesus are similarly pawns in a story of a deity. And Jesus just had to get a few nails through his hands and go to sleep for a day and then wake up and go, woo, and ascend into heaven for an eternity of like bitches and weed or whatever's up there. and Judas had all this torture and self-loathing and has spent eternity in hell. And
right at the centre of hell.
Yeah, and like sitting by Satan's, burning now. Right now, he's down there screaming and burning.
Yeah.
And this just hasn't even begun yet. Eternity's not even... I mean, it's hardly started. He's just getting into it. And it's 2,000 years. And so Judas is the saviour. And there was this philosopher who kind of went mad, going around saying I don't think he killed himself. I just made all that up. But it's sort of...
It's true, though.
Judas should be the person we praise. He's the one who made the big sacrifice.
Yeah.
If we think somehow that dying for our sins was an important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was really...
I think dying for our sins and 30 pieces of silver is good. It's just like getting both. He gets a little something, we get a little something.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
I used to resent Jesus for dying for our sins because I wasn't going to do any sins, and now I feel I have to make his sacrifice.
To make it worth it,
yeah. Well, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
And especially poor Judas. I mean, we should be sinning our fucking asses off just to justify this mess. Total mess.
So there was a little bit of controversy about Jesus Christ Superstar, and were you auto-tuned on the DVD? Is that true?
Well, I did a fucking podcast, right? So this guy who's a fan of musicals in New York said, "Will you come and talk to me?" And I was tired and jet lagged, and said, "Oh, it's like it's they auto-tune my voice." We were just, I forget that a podcast might as well be the front page of a paper because all it needs is someone to take it. It's usually Steve. It's usually Chortle who published my address this week. They're just doing the news, but they don't realise that I get death threats and people should know where my children live. Anyway, this little thing I said became in front of the art pages, the arts pages of a newspaper. They auto-tuned me because they rushed out the DVD and they just kind of did an auto-tune. Usually with auto-tune you do each phrase you adjust. And I'm a bad singer, but I'm not a particularly pitch problematic singer. I'm a tone problematic singer.
You're not a bad singer.
Well, anyway. So I said this thing, and then it's the thing, and I'm ringing Lloyd Webber, wrote to him going, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that, and blah, blah. So I didn't give a shit, really. It was nice to be in tune.
That will go out.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Minchin doesn't give a shit about Lloyd Webber.
Well, good. And you were in Californication, which was what you were just about to go off and do.
Oh, great. Yeah, that was fun. It was almost as good as Two Fists, One Heart.
Was it? Yeah.
That was great. I was naked all the time.
Yeah.
On the telly.
I've seen little clips of it. I never watched California. Oh, yeah. They were only.
Did you like it? Didn't get my foreskin on it, or obviously didn't get my absence of a foreskin, but everything else is there. I had
when you were masturbating as Atticus
Finch.
I want to keep him Atticus Finch, but that's
of course that's a slightly more serious character.
Did you go away or towards when you were?
I don't know if I actually had a proper wank on camera.
Did you not when you were method acting? Surely you got into character and thought, how will this character have a wank? That's the first.
Got kicked off set.
That's the first thing. When you were doing Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, did you not think Howard Rosencrantz?
That's my access to the character. Some people build shoes. I wonder how they wank. How would Hamlet wank?
How would he wank? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all pretty much wank, isn't it?
Miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a self-indulgent wank is
for ages. Yeah. Tired yet?
Tired of us talking about wanky. I just had so much fun
more short form.
Talking about prolapsed anuses last time. This is interesting. I think that you talk about anti-intellectualism. I've seen you talking about this. The society is becoming kind of anti people who are clever, which I think is a massive problem. Do you not? Because it's suddenly being clever is seen as a negative thing, and if you are an expert on something, you are dismissed for being an expert and say, no, we'll do what we think is best.
I think unless that turns around, we'll die.
Yeah.
You can't have that, but I understand why. It's so complicated. I'm obsessed by this subject because education is elite. Education is a privilege, right? So a sense of equality requires you a sense of equality requires that you appreciate or respect, as democracy does, this vote and that vote are equal, whether that person has a PhD and that person can't read, as it should. That's how democracy works. I'm not suggesting that's wrong. Probably the only solution to this is communism, and that doesn't work. But it is elitist to favour the opinions of the educated, in the broader sense of the word elitist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because to be highly educated is privileged, hugely privileged. However, what has been the case, I think, in the past is that, trying to not say something stupid because I'm tired. What has been the case is you go, education is a privilege to which we should all aspire. And we should create a social structure that allows us to educate our poor. And if you have a community, a society that educates its poor, you're in good. And that America over the last 30 years has not done a very good job of that. And then, so you have a lot of problems. If you don't educate your poor, you have social problems because you have no movement between classes or whatever. But it's always been the case that the poor have aspired to education. So although it's elitist to say being highly educated privileges you in your opinion, it has to be the case. And it has to be the case that people with higher education get more respect for the areas in which they're educated, not across the board, not tax breaks, not more adoration, just privileged voice in the areas in which they are expert. And there is such fucking thing, because if we're to say there isn't, you're fucked, because there's no point reading a fucking book ever. If the people who have read the most books aren't privileged in their voice, we're in big, big, big trouble. And it feels to me like the democratisation of information via the internet and stuff, and the fact that it's very hard to curate information. It's very hard to figure out what good sources are compared to bad sources. It's very hard for a punter, any of us, to go, that's a good source and that's a bad source, given the Google worm favours hits, not verifiability or empirical, whatever, although they're trying to do that. And so if you don't know what information's good's bad, you can't tell from the internet whether Reiki is any better than chemotherapy, or a vaccine is any better than no vaccine, or Donald Trump is any better than Obama. I know they're not against each other, but you'd swear, reading the internet, that they're equal intellects. Then you're fucked. We're fucked.
Yeah. It does feel like...
That's the short answer.
It does feel like we are fucked, though.
Yeah, you have to privilege education.
Yeah.
You have to privilege education. So when we wrote Matilda, a couple of reviewers, not many, but a couple of reviewers were like, well, I have microwave dinners and prefer telly to books. What am I... why is this show judging me? It's elitist, like Roald Dahl was, which, he was a snob. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, if you have microwave dinners and watch game shows instead of reading books, you are less, you're educated. You should read a book. I am being elitist. It is better to read a book about something than watch The Bachelor. It is better. Objectively better for society, for you, for your family and loved ones. It is better that you read a book than watch The Bachelor. Don't never watch The Bachelor, but that's my judgment. If you feel like I'm judging you for that, that's correct. I'm judging you for that. And I understand that that is a privilege. I understand that that is a huge privilege, that most people in the world don't get given books, just like most people in the world get given religion. It is a huge privilege to have not been brainwashed as a child. It's a privilege. I do understand that. However, I must be allowed to say religion's wrong, because it is. So we can't keep saying... what do we do? Like, I swear to you, I'm a pretty socialist dude. I mean, I really, really believe that all these rich cunts should pay all their tax and that we should give to charity, and we must educate the poor. And I believe, I hope I will, and I believe I put my money where my mouth is. But you can't not privilege the voices of the educated.
Well, it's the danger is we're sort of creating a society up here as well, I think, where education isn't given enough money, and You know, you're not educating people.
Without social, you can't do it. You can't even do the experiment.
And I just, you know, I saw something, I think Jon Snow retweeted Rupert Murdoch complaining that Twitter was full of people who were arguing on a very base level and didn't have any facts or something, basically that, you know, and Jon Snow saying, well, you reap what you sow, more or less, you know. Yeah. But they've created this situation where people are educated through tabloid newspapers.
I'm so sorry for Murdoch. He's our fault.
Yeah, it is, but...
yeah.
But it's, you know, but it's going to surely. I think with all these things, essentially Brexit's, I think, about this. It's about the mass of people being disgruntled with politics and thinking, yeah, we've punched them in the face, not realising they're kind of
themselves.
But it's kind of followed through, yeah. And
but I see. I'm trying to read. I'm really trying to read, because this. I'll try and not be so boring, but so social media is a confirmation bias machine, right? You follow the people you follow, and you get more and more of the thing, and you follow more of them, and you follow more of them, and you get. So if you believe guns are a good idea, you follow people who think, and you. So we have false dichotomies. The way of the world. That's why votes keep getting split so radically down the middle. Like Australia's hung parliament, Britain's Brexit's basically 50-50. You know, fuck knows what's going to happen to America. But I know that doesn't make sense mathematically. That's actually bullshit. But there does seem to be this sort of dichotising, this split down the middle, because the way we consume news now just pushes us further and further into our own opinions. So I'm trying to not do that. Fuckload. Good, that'll do. But what am I going to do? Put it into my children's musical? But I'm trying to read other stuff, and I'm trying to understand that the Brexit vote was a cry, and that's all true. That's true. But underneath it all is this Govian bullshit that we're sick of experts, and that it's okay to be sick of experts. So the question is, are we sick of experts for a reason? What have our experts done wrong? I mean, they get it wrong all the time, which isn't, you know, it's like science, right? You get shit wrong all the time, but that doesn't mean it's not the right process. It just means it's a slow process towards getting the right answer.
Yeah.
You've got to let your experts make mistakes and still acknowledge that they know more than you do. Yeah. And Europe's fucked, and I don't know.
But then, I mean, Trump, you tweeted before the Brexit by the end of the year, Britain would still be in Europe, Donald Trump wouldn't be the president, Hillary would be the president, and there would be gay marriage in Australia.
Yeah, I had this moment where I thought, we're all fucking hysterical all the time. What's going to happen is Britain will stay in Europe, Trump won't become, Hillary will become president, and gay marriage will pass in Australia, because they were the things that because I live in 3 continents, so I fucking walk into the screams of these. It's terrible, and I'm 0 from 1. But Britain will still be in Europe by the end of the year, and it probably for all intents and purposes, it's going to stay there. It's bullshit. They're not. Yeah. It's the whole thing's a complete fucking dicking fuck up. It's literally Cameron was in Brussels and made a comment, and the media took off, and he had to say something, so he said, I'll have a... Like, it's a farce. You don't give your population a vote on something that not even the fucking experts really understand. I went online and went, why did we vote on this? No one fucking knows what they were voting for, and everyone's like, snob, and I'm like, no, me, all of us. None of us fucking understood it. Yeah. We vote in governments to consult experts to make those decisions for us. I can write a song, you can do whatever the fuck you do. These cunts all have jobs, and they're good at their jobs, some of them. These guys stalk me. We all have our expertise. Yeah. Don't ask me whether we should leave Europe or not, you fuck knuckles. Furious. Anyway.
Well, is Trump going to win now? Have you changed your mind since you got the other one wrong?
He can't win. He can't. I mean, surely. But it is the same question. Same question. People are like, oh yes, she's read lots more books, but who cares?
Yeah.
This guy sounds like me.
He's so stupid. He says stupid things, and nothing can harm him. In fact, the stupider the better. It's almost like, oh, he said something really stupid this time. Good, I'm going to vote for him more. I'm going to vote for him twice now.
Well, it's because people like You know what we need as president? Someone like me. Well, I want a president I can't understand. You know, I want a president who's so fucking smart, I don't know what he's on about, like, who's got PhDs out the wazoo and he's like going, oh, the economics, I want a president I cannot fucking comprehend the intellect of. Yeah. I'll vote for that fucker, not the person who sounds like my drunk uncle, you know. Like, well, who votes for that person? It's just so stupid.
So anyway, we'll move on from the depressing real world. I'll do dirty britcom confessions for you.
Oh, great.
With the people who wrote them might be in the audience today. So
explain to me.
This is a website where comedy fans anonymously reveal their sexual fantasies about comedians. Usually British comedians, but there is an international section in which you feature.
Well, am I not British?
Well,
according to
no,
this.
You're not. You're international.
Okay, great.
I know you were born in Northampton, but get out of here.
Never. Yeah. I'm British when it suits me to have a loud opinion about something.
This is one. There are disturbingly few pictures of Tim Minchin that I haven't masturbated over.
Is that a dude or a Sheila?
We don't know.
I wonder whether they started down or up or forward.
I did too.
Where do you
The thing
start?
that gets me about, I mean, there are still some, but there are some photos of you out there that they can't masturbate. They've tried and gone, no.
Oh, not that one. What about the one? I did a sort of a rapist murderer character recently in Australia. Yes. I wonder. I mean,
Smasher Sullivan, was that the Smasher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd wank to that. Yeah.
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 They might have done. Well, it depends what they've done. Okay, and here's another one. I'll see if you get. This has a slightly religious bent, but not really. Dear Santa, please bring me a delightfully buzzed-on champagne Tim Minchin who snuggles me and drops kisses on my neck before hiking up my skirt and shagging me senseless under the Christmas tree. Now, I think my issue with that is, I mean, you famously like to spend Christmas with your family. I mean, that's what's wrong with that. About what if your daughter's been 10,000 miles from home and comes home and finds you having sex with this person,
someone on the internet?
Yeah, it's going to ruin the.
I don't know. The kids these days have seen everything, haven't they? You probably saw on Minecraft. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Is that lovely?
I love the thought that people want to have sex with me. I mean, I'm from like within 2 meters. I'm grotesque. So it's brilliant.
It is. I mean, that's the only thing I think about being an older now married man is I would just like women to still fancy me, but they don't anymore. They just don't. I used to get people, you know, Facebooking me and telling me they want to have sex with me. It was
great. You were super handsome when you were young. You're still handsome, but when he was young, have you seen photos of? I mean, I guess you probably all watched him, but I wasn't in the country when you were hot. No. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that one of the great joys of this job is that, like, people who wouldn't have been desired get to be desired. And that's why you do it, right? That's why you learn piano, is so that you can get girls that you wouldn't have got.
I had to because my mum made me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like.
Did she make you do this too?
Richard,
it's podcast night, Mum. I don't want to
get Tim Minchin on.
He goes on and on.
Ask him some awkward questions about foreskins, and then make him talk about international politics for a bit, so people forget that, and then go back to talking about cocks again. That's what my mum said.
Oh, I'd love to have sex with strangers under a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
There's other good stuff, you know.
What about?
There's repetition.
Aren't you worried about the needles getting in your bum?
Is it a smack addict?
Off the tree. You have to be.
The tree's a smack addict?
The tree will have needles. Now you're in Hollywood. Oh, I've got trees that don't shed their needles now.
Our trees are plastic. They're Botoxed up so they're not sharp. So who else wants to have sex?
That was it.
What other horrible people?
There were some more. There were some more. I picked
Two's
out
better than
mildly amusing ones. And can we talk about Cardinal Pell? Is that sort of?
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was interesting, wasn't it?
That was a fun song.
These guys wouldn't necessarily know about that.
They wouldn't, but we can talk about you. This one of you haven't been doing many new songs.
I haven't
because of your acting career and
musicals. Really, yeah. You love musicals.
I do love them. I genuinely. Matilda was just one of the most fun times I've had at the theatre ever in any kind of theatre. I was wanking. I'm turned on by children dancing.
This Trunchbull.
And men dressed as women, yeah. But it's brilliant. It was an amazing show.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So I don't write comedy songs. Well, I'm back writing for theatre, which is where it all comes from. And but this dickhead, this guy in Australia who I don't respect, who's the highest ranking Catholic in Australia, he's just being a knobber, kind of like the Boston guy. He took off to the Vatican as this big royal commission into institutional abuse was happening, and he went and got a job in the Vatican. And I know that most Catholic bishops hate him. He's not. I don't think he's a good guy. Right. And so my starting point is he's a Catholic cardinal who walks around in silks and says gays are not equal and women shouldn't be allowed to get abortions and all the shit, Africans should just get AIDS, I'm sorry if I'm being ignorant about something, but pretty much that's how I read it, If you say you shouldn't use contraception, you're basically a murderer. And so I'm admitting my base level is pretty stridently anti that stuff. But this punk, the Royal Commission told him to fly back, and he said he was too sick to come back. He got a doctor's certificate from within the Vatican, and he's just not. He's just fucking not. He's wandering around. He's sorting out the finances of this incredibly wealthy real estate scam they call the Catholic Church, seriously. The Catholic Church is it's not far off. No, that's not true. They do amazing stuff, but a lot of it's just buying real estate. And he's got all this money that he has to sort out, and it's a huge high-pressure job, and he's wandering around the Vatican eating burgers and drinking beers and saying he can't come back to look in the eye the people he got raped as children. I couldn't be more disgusted. So I wrote a really funny pop song, and it helped raise a lot of money for the survivors of sexual assault to fly to the Vatican and watch him do the commission by video link. So they all sat in the room and looked at him. It's brilliant. It's the most incredible piece of... I didn't mean... I was a part of something other people organised, but nothing I've ever done has had anywhere near just immediate, proper impact, positive impact. I got letters and letters and letters from people saying we feel heard for the first time in our lives.
Sure.
And that sounds self-crediting. What I mean is I walked into something where people desperately needed someone to say, this is fucked! In a way that could go on mainstream radio.
Yes. Well, it's good.
I'm actually super proud of it, so I'm not being falsely humble.
It's on YouTube, obviously, so do go on. It's a very funny song about child abuse, So
it's just really sarcastic song about how we're sorry you're sick, but you should, you should come home.
But as
it was really fun. And it's the only time I've ever had a song on mainstream radio, because my mum said, just take that one swear word out. And so I went, okay, mum. And now it's good. Yeah, it's good.
And let's talk about Groundhog Day. I bet everyone does the joke of asking you about Groundhog Day. I'm not going to do it. I was going to ask, I'll ask you, make you talk, and then go, and let's talk about Groundhog Day. I'm not going to do it, because I've got too much class.
You're very classy.
I've got too much class.
How's this going, by the way?
It's good, it's really good. I think it's an excellent one. But
is it okay?
The audience may disagree. They seem to be listening when you're being serious and laughing when you're being funny.
I
So
don't know.
that seems good to me. But we did this last time. Who's having a terrible time here? So just cheer if it's you. Or just go. They're not...
they've all brave, wouldn't it, to go, I don't like this, that'd be huge.
Who thinks it's a mediocre podcast, Jim?
Come on, you pussies. You are out there going...
Last time I gave them just the choice, it's the best podcast ever, so who thinks it's not the best podcast ever, but it's all right?
Oh, bless. Fuck you!
Who thinks it's, we should carry on a bit longer? Have you broken the chair?
I promise we'll be gone soon.
I don't think we've been done that long yet. I might be wrong. Have we done that long? No. Just feels like it from up here. Well, I'm very excited because I really love Matilda. I'll tell you what was brilliant about Matilda. I saw a very early version of it, and what aside from it, I've got the soundtrack and everything. It's the only soundtrack of a musical
It's
I
not called a
listen to.
soundtrack when it's musical.
Whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
I got the record.
The record.
I got the LP.
got
I
the
play
record.
it in my car on a.
Got the EP.
And it's brilliant. But what was really impressive, as well as everything else, was because I saw an early performance, the whole stage broke down halfway through.
Oh, amazing.
And the desk didn't come up when they were meant
brilliant.
to. And they had to stop the performance in the middle of this very exuberant, fantastic song. And all these kids had to go off while they mended the stage. And everyone's like, oh no, this is terrible, this is going to ruin the thing.
They come back
and
on
they came back in, and they came back bang on it. It was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Amazing, those kids.
They'll be about 30 years old now, those children. But
Totally. There's kids that have just gone into the show in Toronto who were born when I was writing it.
Right.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I mean, it's like I bought a house.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing, emotionally amazing.
Yeah. But Groundhog Day, I think we made in the last podcast, we made lots of jokes about what film you could turn into a musical. Turner and Hooch and
really?
Chuck and Larry. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, which we got the
Did
name
we
of.
talk about that?
Yeah, we did, but then you've taken Groundhog Day, which is better than I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. So if you were going to choose one, but if it had been I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, I would want 50%.
You would get a
because it was my idea to copy that. But you had the idea, after copying Matilda, you had the idea of copying
Groundhog Day. But not only is it copying, it's not even an adaptation from a book, it's an adaptation from a 2-hour thing into a 2-hour thing.
Yeah.
So it's proper cop-out.
But I love Groundhog. Groundhog Day is generally one of my top 10 comedy films, easily, probably top 5.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited to see you come
it's dangerous though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of all you nerds who are like, it's one of my favourite films. And I'm absolutely sure of the people who love the film, how many do you think would want to come to the musical, and how many would go, fuck you, don't dirty my sacred art?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say probably it'd tilt towards the latter. But if you love the film because you just think it's an awesome concept and you're intrigued by how it could be reinterpreted, then you'd come. But if you think it's a sacred piece of
I mean, you're not, if you put a woman in as Bill Murray, you'd be in trouble, but it's...
I've got a lyric, I've got a tip of the hat to, there's a lyric in the musical that where he's fantasizing about the day he wished he got trapped in, where he goes, he's talking about this girl, he had this great day. We made love in the sand, and then when we were through, we went back to her room and watched Ghostbusters 2. So I've got a little Harold Ramis, Bill Murray tip of the hat. But my main aim with the musical is to make people walk in and go, I'm thinking about Bill Murray, I'm thinking about Bill, and then the minute it starts, never think of him again. And it kind of does that because it's incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
It's a very hard thing to make. Because the film relies on two major things. One is putting the camera here. Sorry, it's a podcast. Putting the camera in a close-up. Putting the camera in a Bill Murray close-up and letting him be Bill Murray. It relies heavily on that. Or in a mid. And it's brilliant for that. Just letting him be Bill Murray. And the other thing it relies on is edit.
Yeah.
Is cuts. Montage. And so when you try and put that on stage, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I love so much the construct, the premise, and it feels so much to me like a piece of theatre, a guy trapped in a world, in a confined world. Because Groundhog Day is in a snow globe, right? Mm. It's basically a snow globe.
Yeah.
It's almost Truman Show, Yeah. He's in a dome. A metaphysical dome, and that's theatre, right? That's how you write it. That's how you start with a play. How do you get two idiots stuck on a stage they can't escape from? It's brilliant, and it's Godot, and it's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. It's got that. It's brilliant. I just love it, and I believe in it.
What I'd have done to get over.
Good.
Yeah, is. Just let him live the day all the way through, and then it ends.
Just one
day. Yeah, just has Groundhog Day.
He wakes up the next day.
That was a nice Groundhog Day.
It's much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Fuck. Should have thought of that.
Don't have to worry about all the other stuff, then do you?
Much easier.
Yeah.
But we've done 2 performances after
Yeah.
4.5 years. I am sitting here now having had 2 audiences, and I can't tell you how different my life is today than it was on Thursday last week.
Right.
I mean, I was like, and I'm just not a very stressed guy. I'm not susceptible to it. I'm reasonably laid back, but my guts were just like knotted for weeks. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Because it just all comes to a head, and there's no innocence anymore because of Matilda and various bits and pieces. It's like you don't even know what successful means anymore. And because of Matilda, people are invested in it up the wazoo, and you know, it's like.
Well,
by the way, I've worked for 4 years on it without getting paid a dime. I mean, it's all gamble.
Yeah.
And so we had this audience in on Friday, and it's pretty incredible, really. Like, it's not ready, and it's not perfect, of course, but it works, I think. Is anyone there? Yeah. Does it work? You have to say yes. Well, it's not really
Who thought it was really...
Who thought it was shit? Who thought it was worse than a Richard Herring podcast? No,
Who preferred Matilda to Groundhog Day?
Don't
That's
you
the
dare.
real question.
What you know once you put it in front of an audience is whether it's fundamentally broken or not.
Yeah.
That's all you can tell. And the anxiety is maybe this is fundamentally broken and we're all mad. And then you put it in front of an audience. I don't think it's fundamentally broken.
Good. Well, I'm sure it isn't, but it's such a complicated thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's lots and lots of people involved, and it's not just you putting it together, but it's so complex to even just write. If you're just writing a play or whatever, but to have all
it's
music.
huge. And there's, I mean, it's a properly, technically, the most complicated piece of theatre I've ever seen. You know, there's revolves within revolves and magic, magic up the fucking wazoo.
I think people, you know, I love Groundhog Day, and I don't, you know, I wouldn't care if you completely changed it to something different. It's just, you know, I think it's, you know, I think you would want to see that. And
if you go see it, I promise, if you don't like it, I'll pay you back.
Okay.
Not you, cunts.
Could you?
Maybe like this room. I'm pretty confident.
If I don't like it, will you promise to shut down the production forever?
The herring clause. It's so full on, but and now I've got a month of previews, and so I was in there for 12 hours today, just going, we need an extra bar there, that's too rushed, and it's brilliant actually. I love that. I love this bit.
Yeah.
It's like putting the last, it's not even the last, putting the final bits of paint on it. It's brilliant.
Do you keep working on if you go and see Matilda now, would you go and go, shit, we'll change that?
Well, someone's performance, I think, can be helped, but no, I mean, once it's on, and you could have regrets, but I don't watch it with that in. I never go, I wish I'd written that differently. It's you have to accept, like watching your old stand-up DVDs, which I know you do every weekend. You've got to just go, that was where I was at, and that was my offer, and now I'm, you can't do that.
It's similarly complicated writing
to these podcasts. Same amount of work.
What cock joke to ask about. It's great. Is there going to be a film version of Matilda? I kind of think I'd heard
Matilda the musical.
Yeah, the musical.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Look, I mean, it's weird, right? Because we're fucking old and shit. See, education. You too can say words like we're fucking old and shit. You go that. But there was just a Matilda movie. You can't have another one. It's 20 years. It's 20 years, so you can actually do another Matilda movie now, and this one's going to have songs. And a broken desk. It's going to be brilliant. We're putting that, because you loved it, we're putting it in the film. The whole movie just be brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's too late.
It's so nice seeing you again. It's a shame
That's what you say when you think the podcast isn't going very well.
No, it isn't. It's such a shame that I only see you on every 4 years in the podcast. But let's do this again in 4 years' time. Because I hope your career will have gone really badly, and then mine will have gone up a bit, and then I can
be brilliant.
Go, I wrote
be like condescendingly, sorrowful.
I can remember, it doesn't matter. Groundhog Day didn't work out. Just remember,
no, you can't.
when you were.
It makes me feel like vomiting in my wine. There'll be a riot. All you can do is like it yourself. can't you?
Yeah, well,
you
that's
can't
true.
make other people like
You
what
can't
you like.
believe me, I
It's
know
like
that.
your cock, isn't it? You've done all right, Dickie.
It's been all
You're
right.
doing all right, yeah.
I'd rather be in Hollywood pretending to be shagging loads of people in a David
Under a
with,
Christmas tree.
with Fox Mulder. That's what I'd prefer to be doing.
Is that his name, Fox Mulder?
In the X-Files.
Is that what
yeah.
his character's name was?
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a brilliant guy, that Duchovny. He's a good guy.
He is. Did you? If I was in it, in Californication with him, I'd just keep talking about Eugene Toombs to him all the time.
Is that a
That's the
reference
guy
to
who,
sci-fi
yeah, the
thing?
guy who could crawl into tiny spaces and then he lived in a. So he could. He was
This
in the
is
air vent
X-Files?
and he could. Yeah, he crept out. So and then I'd talk about Larry Sanders to him for a bit as well.
This is the beginning of the reason you're not in that show. Just a hint.
That's what I do in the audition. I go into audition
Yeah.
and go,
Hello.
Oh, it's Fox Mulder in this one.
Oh.
Well, I'm in it. I'm going to talk. I'll do the audition in a second.
talk to him
I
about
can't wait
that
to
little guy
talk
in
to
the
him.
air vent.
Can't wait to talk to him. What was it like being in the X-Files? That's what I'm going to ask him. Do you
He was
believe
teaching
in
himself
aliens?
guitar when I...
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was obsessed by teaching himself guitar.
Yeah.
He's a self-improver.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, well, when you do a sort of sitcom about sex for 7 years, you got to have a hobby, right?
He's very funny. He's really funny.
He's
in,
brilliant.
in
He's such
Larry Sanders is mate. That's the. This year has been so fucking terrible in so many ways. I keep forgetting that Gary Shandling has died. That was one of the worst
it's
things
a
that
pity,
happened this
right?
year,
Yeah.
and I keep forgetting, and then I go, oh
Yeah.
my god, no. It's fucking
In the
horrible.
long term, I think Brexit's worse. But it's,
No, I don't think it is.
Gary's a lovely guy.
I don't think it is worse. That's the worst one for me, and there's been some very bad ones.
Do you know him?
No, I don't know anyone. I only
You
meet
know
people-
Russell fucking Kane, don't you?
I do now. I've met him on here. No, I knew him a bit before. I know you.
You
from
know
my-
him before
from
he was Russell Kane?
I did. Well, yeah, he is. If that is his real name, it isn't. Would you use nuclear weapons if you were in charge of nuclear weapons? I think I know the answer to this. But let's see. If someone had been really bad, and you could fire one just at their head, and it would really explode.
I actually think you know, and this is where it gets psychopathic. If you're a leader, you have to be led by evidence, right? So, for example, the example I use is the death penalty. If the death penalty evidently did a net good for the most number of people, so if we had proof, like we do on some indigenous societies on islands, that if someone kills someone, killing them back is actually good for that society. So in our society, if we went killing someone makes the family of the victim happier, and that you can have a 99.99% success rate in guilt, in your assessment of their guilt. And you know, if the evidence said
Just check
his fucking watch. Fair enough too. I'm super boring about this, but so
Didn't think you were looking.
if there was so of course I would use nuclear weapons in particular circumstances.
Yeah.
The circumstance would have to be something like there's an island of rapists, and in fact, except I don't believe in free will, so I don't believe it's their fault that they're rapists. But if you could prove that that if they got off the island, they would create a society of other, paedophilic rapists. Yeah, I mean, you just need the evidence, and I suspect there would never be a case for it. So no.
What if?
Theoretically, yes. Practically,
What
I
if
doubt it.
aliens were hovering over in a big spaceship, and
Bad-
the only way to get them
bad
was to
aliens?
send in
Balians?
Yeah, they're really bad. They're trying to destroy the world, and if you fire a nuclear missile right up the middle, then it'll.
Dude, write this shit down. It's brilliant. We get to call Michael Bay. I would nuke the aliens if they were definitely bad.
Yeah.
It'd be a pity, right?
What if 60% of the aliens on the ship were bad, but 40% were quite nice? We're trying to talk the other aliens out of what they were doing. The other aliens go, no, look, we voted, and 52% of us said destroy the world. They're going, no, but that guy's got a nuclear bomb, he's going to blow us up. We have made the vote! The vote has to stand, whatever happened. What would you do then? This is an allegory.
I think, well, that's an inaccurate allegory because only 35% of Brits voted to leave.
Yeah. But it's on the spaceship, it's just the ones who voted.
Actually, we didn't vote to leave, by the way.
What?
Because you have to assume that the people who didn't go to the polling booths are like, eh. So the people who didn't go to the polling booths are eh, which means they're apathetic, which means they don't want change. By definition, if you go eh, it means you're happy with the way it is. So actually, we thrashed them. You've got to count the apathetic. If you're not, if the vote is, do you want to fucking fuck everything up? And there's like 35% go yeah, and for whatever other 33% go no, and a whole lot go eh. That means no, don't fuck everything up. Count the apathetic as don't change it. That's what apathy means, right? Don't initiate.
You seem to have turned this into Brexit, and it's very much about aliens.
So, I think it would be very difficult to nuke those aliens, but it's a tough one. See, this is why you can't say no. That would be tough. You might be better off killing all the aliens and then just dying evil, if that's what society assessed you as. It's tough, and also an alien race. So our notion of the reason we kill cows but not people is we see other people and we're like, their consciousness is like ours, so they suffer grief and pain. But with cows, we're like, oh, they're just like moo. So we kill them. And we kill them on the assumption that because they don't have a similar sort of form of discourse or whatever, that they're not as conscious or whatever as us. And so these aliens, assuming they have a different language and shit, you'd sort of go, oh, it's a bit like cows, isn't it? So it's hard.
They've got a big spaceship, though.
I want to talk about this for another hour. Well, what do you guys reckon? Let's vote. Let's not.
All right, I'll ask you some emergent questions I've stolen from the internet.
What's the time so I know too?
It's about 10. We go until about 10:15 usually.
No, we gotta go. These people are fucking over it. Come on. I mean, you're being amazing and patient, and I'm very grateful. But I imagine I would be over it. You know.
Yeah. They can go.
They can go, can't they? Yeah. Let's keep talking.
Okay. I think when they hear the next question, those waivers will be all.
They'll be like, oh,
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Another cop.
I'll ask the question and then we'll end the.
I like the fanny bit. We should have stopped after that. A massive fanny.
That was very early on.
Because I'm quite sort of data-based in the way I think about the world, I'm quite analytical. I'm very aware that I'm like 20% entertaining. So it's like, the odds on you getting another proper laugh are slim. Anyway.
No, honestly, it goes through a little lull. And we deliberately talk about some serious things, like that alien thing I talked about. It's very, very serious. And then it's going to go,
really
it's going
to question, though. That's an amazing question.
Thank you. I wish
I'd
written it down.
Question. It's tough.
It is.
I want to dig into
I'll ask that to other people. It's not going to be a cop. Have you ever flown a kite? Let's end the podcast now. And all these people are going to go, well, I have to find out. Why have you ended it?
Have I ever flown a kite?
Yeah, a kite. A kite, not a cunt.
Kite.
Have you ever taken off someone's... Yeah. It would work if you... If you get the airflow right, you could get that airborne.
You can't say cunt in America. No. You can say kite though.
Okay, kite.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
I had a stunt kite in my teens that I absolutely cunt stunt. No, it's a stunt kite.
I hope Russell Kane is listening to this.
Has he never flown a kite?
He was just like, what kind of question is that? And I got loads of stuff out of him with it. It's a brilliant question, but yeah, this is exciting.
He had a funny childhood though, right?
He did, yeah.
I, on the other hand, had the sort of childhood where you get a stunt kite. And I'm like, oh, it's brilliant, loved it. I spent a lot of time with a kite.
Yeah, and I bet in Australia the sky's bigger and stuff, isn't it? So there's more place to put it because the sky's so big.
Yeah, I mean, you do get a sense that the sky's bigger in Australia, but not at the sort of level of string length. It's more like the length of string I had on my kite would have been fine in England. It wouldn't have hit the top of the snow globe.
Yeah. But you could have been, a pterodactyl could have come down and eaten.
No, they're extinct, bro.
Oh, they? Even Australia?
Oh, yeah, we are. Don't have gay marriage, do have pterodactyls. Sometimes it's good being old-fashioned. Lots of gay pterodactyls.
I didn't ask you many emergency questions.
Ask me more because
I didn't.
You should
previous
because
one.
I got boring 7.
Have you ever tried sushi?
Should I just give you a yes or no on that one?
Yeah.
No, yes. Yeah, I've really got into it recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
nice,
recently.
isn't it? It's nice.
Like, you mean like raw fish on stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's just come out.
Did you write these questions down like 18 years ago when you thought, one day I'll have something called a podcast?
I didn't write that one down. Marshall Jones Jr. wrote that one.
What an idiot.
He had 100 questions. That's one of the 100 questions to ask people.
Have you
ever tried sushi? It's either yes or, well, no.
Yeah.
And then you go,
Have you flown a kite?
that's nice. I did.
I remember when we didn't have avocado. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
In Australia, there was definitely a time when there wasn't avocado.
Even in Australia, I would imagine they had them all over. In Australia all the time.
It's like one of those foods that we didn't have, and
No,
then
we
we had it, and posh people had it.
Yeah.
I remember when yuppie was a word.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was like yuppies had avocado in Australia.
Yeah.
Fucking yuppie with your avocado. Was there ever a time when you guys didn't have
I
avocado?
remember avocado because it came when I was I remember feeling sophisticated because my mum would make a balsamic vinegar kind of.
Totally balsamic didn't come in.
I don't know. Might not have been balsamic, but she made like a vinaigrette maybe that went in the middle.
The English was super not posh.
And it was really like, and I was very fussy as a kid eating, so I must have been like 14 or 15 when avocados came over because I ate it. It was nice, and then the little vinaigrette.
We got Thai. We got Thai in the late 80s as well.
Thai.
You got Thai
food.
Didn't get Thai before that.
We didn't really have Thai until, maybe there was a Chinese takeaway. Used to get spring rolls. I mean, that's not really the same. I don't know why I even mentioned it.
Close enough. In it. We're out. We're fucking out.
The man who served the spring rolls at the Chinese takeaway could take his eyelids and turn his eyelids inside out. He'd sometimes do
Holy
that.
shit.
Sometimes
Is that a
do
correlate? Is that something? Are most people who do spring rolls also these?
I don't know. I
mean, it's 1 for 1 for you.
I think it was an unusual thing. It was either him or a tuk-tuk driver in Thailand. I forget now. So,
and that's the end of the racist section. Moving on to sexist.
It was him. I'll ask you this. I haven't asked this one for a little while.
Okay, great.
Kettle crisps are not as nice as they once were. Well, hold on. Have I changed or have they? It's a rhetorical question. I don't want your answer. If you could travel in time to compare any food of today with the food of the past, what time would you travel to and what food would you go and taste? You can take the food from the present day with you to see if it's the same. Or if it's...
It's tough to have one right at your fingertips.
It is, yeah. That's why I'm...
So you get a food from now,
yeah,
and you think, I'm going to go back to Elizabethan times
yeah,
to see if that food's
very
different.
Yeah. Or it could be just with kettle crisps. It's like 6 years ago.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I'd take a kettle crisp back and go, yes!
Why
they're not the same. Or, they are the same. It's me that's changed.
Right.
But that's the only way I...
There's no other way to know. There's no other way to know.
I'm going to have to have a deep think about my life, the way I used to like these and now I don't like them. What's become of me?
What's about?
But if they're different, then I just... Yeah!
I'm
yes!
consistent. I want this to I mean, if there's any real... If there is in the universe a reason for time travel, this is it. I think. Yeah. I would get an egg. That's used by dates today.
Yeah.
And I go to yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'd see if it's like a problem. Because I'm religious about it, so I'm like, it's used, push. That's shit, right?
Yeah.
I should sniff it. But time travel would be quicker than a sniff.
I had some fish pie mix that was 2 days past its sell by date the other day.
Hold on. Fish pie mix?
Yeah, fish pie mix.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's like fish you put in a fish pie.
It's a fish pie mix?
Yeah, fish pie mix. Get a little packet of different fish and you put it in a fish pie. I didn't bother putting it in a fish pie. My wife said, I'm not going to do it, I'm too tired. And I said, well, I don't want to do it either. So what I did is I got the fish pie mix and just fried it up, and then I got some potatoes and made them, then I just stuck it together.
That guy is leaving. because what you're talking about is stupid, Richard. I don't know what a fish pie mix is. I'm with that guy. You're lucky I didn't fucking walk out. I've never heard of a fish pie
He'll
mix.
be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
I don't know.
It's some fish. It's basically some
fish.
Some chopped up different fish.
With some.
No. Well, you do that yourself.
So it's just some fish.
Yeah. By the way, it was 2 days past its sell-by date.
But what designate? How do you distinguish? How do you distinguish fish pie mix from some fish?
Because it says fish pie mix on the package.
It's a package food. Okay. No, that's totally fine.
Someone has said this will make a nice fish pie. This mixture of a bit of salmon.
This pile of fish.
Salmon.
Put that in a fucking pie, wouldn't you? Oh yeah, let's put that on the label.
Yeah.
If I give it a use by date, it might go off. And time travel's not quite been invented yet, so nothing we can do about it.
I've got a lot of time travel questions you don't want to get.
Oh no.
Oh well, lastly, I haven't asked this much this series either. We briefly touched upon it in the intro. But do you think having sex with a robot would count as cheating against your wife? No, it wouldn't, would it? That's right. Can you come and tell my wife that? Because coming from you, I think she would.
Did you fuck a robot?
No, but
Did you
I want.
get busted fucking your robot?
I want to. Well, I've just been.
You just switched it off then. No, it was always off.
I've been filming As It Occurs to Me this week, and I filmed the first sketch in which I was having sex. I was having sex with a toaster in the first sketch, but my wife didn't come in, so she didn't see me do it.
Oh, I love your wife.
And then she has had some toast out. It was my toaster, and I realised once I got the toast down, it isn't quite a nice toaster. It's quite it's quite shiny and sexy.
Oh, yeah.
It's DeLonghi. It's none of you's had.
Yeah,
DeLonghi.
It's put your Dwighty in it.
Yeah. Would you have sex with it if there was a really realistic sex
amazing
robot?
like in Ex Machina?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd bang that robot.
Yeah.
That's an ironic joke because it's actually a movie about sexism. It doesn't matter. Do you like Ex Machina? It's the best movie. It's such a good fucking movie. It's very interesting. I mean, a pretty sexy robot that's a bit like a person. I don't have a moral issue with that, but a really sexy robot that's a lot like a person and might have intelligence. That's a moral quandary, which is what the movie was about.
It's exciting, isn't it?
I would love to have sex with a sexy robot.
Yeah. And it doesn't count as cheating because it's not a person. That's the beauty
Well,
of it.
then it's grey, right? Yeah. But I mean, I want to have sex with sexy people as well.
Okay.
So if I could have sex with a sexy person without it being ethically problematic, then yeah. So a robot's the right solution.
They just painted themselves silver. I mean,
I've spoken to a fan. He's back because you've finished with the fish pie nonsense. We're talking about
you missed the fish pie thing.
It's either that
It's either that your bladder's empty. I think you've had enough to drink, mate. So I think you've had enough.
He's talking to the man in the audience, podcast audience. I have not had enough.
What if someone was?
Does anyone not want to bang a robot? See, it's no one. Yeah,
Look,
but
why would she when she's
Only
got that
'cause she's
guy?
tired.
Look at that guy. You got that guy, old Blondie McBlunder.
He looks a bit robot.
Yeah.
Hot robot.
He's done well for himself there, hasn't he?
He looks beautiful, yeah. They're both beautiful. They're both very blonde.
She's much
They're
better
a
looking
little
than
bit
him.
Aryan for my taste. Old Hitler moustache here
This is
doesn't
not
mind.
right turning up with like an attractive partner.
What?
It's not right turning with. Look at these guys you're sitting next to. They have to sit here with you canoodling, going, "Oh, we will never know." They're only going to have sex with robots in their life. These guys are just willing it to come through, and then next.
Rubbing it in their face.
It's a sexy podcast. I don't blame you. I'll warm her up. You take the. Say yeah.
Who's regretting coming tonight? Not me. I love Richard.
I'm sorry.
Ask me something else, or let's go home.
We'll go
no,
on.
I'm having a lovely time. I just feel.
Oh, this is a good question. This is my wife asked this question
Aww.
after a recent one of the many recent disasters. We couldn't. Think
Did you have
many-
lots of disasters?
No, in the world, you know.
Oh, right.
And we're very happy.
It's not your fault.
We're very happy. But she asked me, why do we have frozen peas? And it's quite a good question, so I would like to know the answers. But
To stop swelling.
yeah, but
Does you get a knock on the head?
it does do that. But not many. Her reasoning was, I thought it was an odd question, but her reasoning was, most vegetables we get fresh, occasionally tinned, but primarily we get peas frozen.
Yeah.
Even if you're the kind of person who has all fresh stuff, you'll have peas
You'll
frozen.
take your peas frozen.
Yeah, why is that?
I assume it's because they're annoying to shell.
That's why I said.
And so you want to get them all out, and then once you got them out, it's like there's some loss of quality selling them fresh, but no, because they're a very simple little chemical structure, there's not much loss of quality freezing.
Okay.
Pseudoscience. Something like that. It'll be something like that, won't it? Hey, cock!
All right, I'll ask. This is a question that Tim Turner gave me last series. Richard Dawkins claims to have seen dogs doing a 69.
I trust him.
What's the worst lie you have ever told people to impress them?
That's an amazing question. It is. Certainly doesn't need answering. I don't know.
Since I've asked that question, a few people have sent me pictures of dogs 69ing.
Oh yeah, Dog 69.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still funny though.
But I don't think Richard Dawkins has seen it. I think he found out they could do it, and then I'm going to say that.
I think Richard
On Twitter.
Dawkins has seen more than you think.
Yeah.
Do you think Dickie Dawkins? Dickie Dawkins, weird bloke.
Do you think he's seen God really, and then gone, oh shit. Shit, I can't tell people because then I won't sell any more books.
I reckon he might have set them up. I reckon he got a dog and went and sort of held them there until they sort of licked as a matter of sort of panting.
Wow.
I reckon he made them do it.
Front page of Chortle tomorrow, that is. Tim Minchin accuses.
I love.
It's like literally grooming some dogs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. Women?
Women?
Bitches? Were the dogs women?
Oh, I don't
female
know.
dogs? Were they bitches?
I think they were
male dogs.
hound dogs.
One of each. Were they female or male? Dickie's
Male,
dogs.
I think male dogs. What's the male dog called?
It's a dog.
Just a dog.
Is that right? Dog and a bitch, like cow and a bull.
Yeah.
Dog and a bitch.
That's sexist, isn't it? That is very sexist.
I think it's the very definition of not sexist.
Very
But the internet
sexist
being
again.
what it is, it could be sexist by tomorrow.
Poor old.
I suspect if you're a bonobo, the girls tend to go at each other pretty hard with the oral sex. Yeah. Just to clarify, are you a bonobo?
A bonobo monkey.
Well, it's not monkey, it's a bonobo.
What's a bonobo?
It's a bonobo type of monkey. It's not, is it?
Well, you mean
It's
an ape?
What it is?
I thought it was.
Oh.
Well, you're
It's
no
an ape.
expert.
I don't think it's a monkey. It's an ape. I think it's an ape.
Whatever. I was just
They
clarifying.
love sex, though.
Please, I have to ask you this before you go. Who would you rather died, Windsor Davies or Matthew Crosby's wife?
Say them again.
Windsor Davies
Don't know.
or Matthew Crosby's wife?
Don't know. Okay.
So who would you rather died without knowing who either of them are?
I would rather the first one because Matthew Crosby's wife doesn't even have her own identity. She deserves a chance to come into her own before she cuts.
Yeah.
She deserves to rise up into selfness before we kill her.
Did you have the 8.5 hot mum in Australia?
A what? Fucking what?
If did you have the 8.5 hot mum in Australia?
8.5 hot fuck.
If,
I don't know what you're
it
saying.
ain't half hot mum.
It ain't half hot, mum. It's not. It isn't half hot, mother.
It ain't half hot mum.
You aren't. You ain't half hot, mum.
It ain't half
It
hot
ain't
mum.
half hot, mum.
Did you have that?
He's
in?
talking about his fish mix. Lovely fish pie mix, but it ain't half hot, mum. Is that like that?
Yeah. Did you have that in Australia?
We
the
had
TV
Doctor
show.
Who. No.
Wednesdays was probably in Doctor Who. Anyone know? I feel we should
We
have
had
taken.
avocado.
We should have gone out when we were talking about the fish pie. That was the high
We
point.
peaked, but now we have to keep going.
we have to keep going until we hit another.
Come on. It's going to be
another high.
amazing. It's like hostages. It's like having hostages. What's the syndrome? Stockholm syndrome. You love us because we.
You're
hurt
like
you.
my joke about that.
All right, here we go.
I've done it before for everyone else.
All right, here we go.
You're like this because you're clever. I've got Stockhausen syndrome. I listen to really discordant music for long enough, then I like it.
Yeah, nice. Munchhome. Yeah, nice.
Cheers,
I like it.
Thank you. It's a good joke. And what about my other? This is my other joke. Where does a bird go when it goes to a night? Hold on, I put it wrong.
I'm just happy he's got 2 jokes. There's twice as many than 4 years ago.
Where does a bird leave its sexual organs when it goes to a nightclub?
In the cock room, I don't know.
In the cloaca room.
Ah, fuck! I was I
close.
should have fucking got that. Fuck. So angry because I talk about cloacas a lot.
Do you? Yeah,
at
me
the
too.
moment, Yeah.
Well, that's why they're not that interested. I do that joke every week till it hits. The Stockhausen one is
The fucking cloaca room is much stronger than the Stockhausen. In mine.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, cloaca room.
You sort of need to preempt it if you're doing it in a club set, and you say, "Oh, by the way, a bird's sexual organ is called a cloaca."
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard at jonglers.
By the way,
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah,
just remember that.
It's
It's probably-
poo and
Probably-
urine
yeah.
and eggs. They all come out the same hole. You with me? Right, I've got a joke. Yeah.
It probably won't come again. Forget about it for a minute. That's what I do.
And then just at the end, when they're all booing and throwing shit at you, you drop that puppy, drop the mic, and get the fuck off. Brilliant. It's herring.
Well, what are you
Richard
going to talk in this? Are you going to do more comedy nights and comedy shows?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to tour again. I will definitely tour again. But the thing is, I'm a musician, so it might be a bit more like gigs.
Yeah.
But I
when I-
desperately want to get.
When I
back
saw you at
onto
the O2, it's the only thing that made sense of a comedy thing at the O2 because you had a fucking massive orchestra.
Yeah, I tried
and
really hard to make
and
it
visual
not just
stuff.
like I'm going to make lots of money.
Yeah.
I tried really hard to. I tried so hard to make it not I'm going to make lots of money that I made no money. I had an orchestra, so fuck you all. Yeah, it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I miss playing live, and I don't know what I'm doing. It's really. I've blown it. No, I haven't blown it. I do need to play live again, and I want to tour. And I'm
Well,
trying
it's a
to
problem
not be
you're
a
doing
shit
so
father.
many. You know, you're being successful in a lot of different
Oh
areas.
yeah, I mean this is a problem.
Be like me, being not successful in lots of areas. You
We're
can
the
do all
same.
the things you want,
Yeah.
but no one's coming going, "Oh, quick, you have to do another one of those." Because we've invested, like some bloke's probably giving me 50 quid to, mention the name of his stupid shirt company at the front of one or something.
This would be the time,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
Just drop it. No, it's
they
bad.
haven't.
I will. I mean, I'll tour again, and I assume by the time I do, the interest will have waned, and that's fine. I mean, that's all right. I deserve that. But I'd love to. And the arena thing's bullshit, as we all know, and great to do. But once you've done it, you just don't ever want to do it again. So I would like to tour the UK doing proper theatres, and I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I hope you will.
As long as I don't have to write any new material.
Do you know what about doing a musical version of the film The Sound of Music? You wouldn't have to. If you did, that's already got songs in it. You wouldn't really have to do anything.
A pretty good idea.
Yeah.
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 It's
And
good.
would you consider doing a musical of Shrek?
Well, no.
No.
Did you see it? Did anyone? Yeah. It's all right.
Was it better than you imagine Groundhog Day is, or not as good? Imagine if it's just, no, it's still, Groundhog Day is still what I imagine Groundhog Day is like. It's
Fuck. Just go and see Groundhog Day.
We're going to everyone go and see Groundhog Day. I'm only talking to
You
people
can't,
here
sold
because...
No, I
They've
think
already
I
seen
think it'll be
it,
all right.
yeah.
The Groundhog Day will be all right. Shrek, wasn't the best idea.
What about Shrek, but it's not about Shrek, it's a Shrek. Just another Shrek.
Oh,
It's a different Shrek.
yeah.
Like not the Shrek, it's just another
Shrek, the pigeon.
No, he's an ogre, but he's just he looks like
he's
Shrek.
mate Shrek.
He's just he's an ogre like Shrek, so he's a Shrek. But he's not Shrek. And it's just
And like
about his
halfway through the
adventure.
second act, Shrek comes on. I was like, Shrek! Oh, it's so confusing. He walks off and you get on with the story.
Yeah.
About this orange guy.
He'd be green. He's still like his. Still the same species.
Don't get it.
That's because you were in the first of these podcasts rather than the 11th or whatever it was. Anyway, I've had a lovely time talking to you. I've got to get up.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about me. I'm sorry about Richard Herring. I'm sorry you got stuck in here. Russell Kane was erudite and funny and good looking. You must. We're going to do 25 more minutes and then you can go. I just want to get off my chest Islam and then we'll go home.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please give a big round of applause to Tim Minchin, ladies and
Richard
gentlemen.
Herring. Richard Herring. Bye, Richard.
How'd you like them sky potatoes?